Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how competitive is your pay as a truck driver. So if you are a truck driver, you probably became one because of all the money that you heard that you can make, and you want to make as much money as possible. And I'm here to say, yes, you should make as much money as possible. And in today's video, we're going to be answering the question, are you truly getting paid a competitive wage compared to other people out there? So the first thing that you do have to understand, if you're even thinking about becoming a truck driver, is what is the average income for an average truck driver? So the average is around $75,000 a year, which means half the people make more than that, half people make less than that. Majority of people is very easy to make $75,000 a year, and we'll show you exactly what that average is like. Now, what are some examples where you're going to make less than that? Maybe if you have zero experience, you didn't go to a proper school, you don't have the right connections, and then you have to work your way up to that, and then that makes sense, right? But if you're driving a truck and you're not making anywhere near $75,000 a year, and you're doing it full time, then you know there's a red flag and something to check out for. So if you're not making anywhere near $75,000 and you're driving a truck full time, you probably know that something's wrong with your compensation and it might be time to look someplace else. But if you wait till the end of the video, I'm going to give you a tip and a trick on how to make your entire trucking career as easy as possible and help you make more money every single year, and as long as you understand the rules of the game. Before we actually get started into how much money you should be making or anything like that, the main thing that people get wrong is going to be comparing things apples to apples, right? We've all heard that term. That just means comparing one thing to the other thing and making sure that you're comparing them on both of the same kind of a thought process itself. So now let's talk about exactly how this thought even pops up into your head as a truck driver. Well, you're going to be driving a truck, you'll stop at a truck stop, and you're either fueling up or all of a sudden you're eating lunch or dinner or anything like that. And you start talking to another truck driver who works for a completely different company. You start talking about pay for whatever reason, and now you're starting to realize, whoa, this guy makes that much more money than I do. I'm doing the same amount of work that he is. Maybe I'm even working harder than he is. How in the world can he be making more money than me? So before we actually get started in this analysis, the first thing you have to understand is humans do lie, right? And every human likes to hear themselves speak, and some humans like to exaggerate the truth more than others. You have to take everything that they say with a grain of salt. But if you do believe them, and we're going to assume in this case that you do, the first thing you have to understand is in most cases, you're not going to compare everything apples to apples. So what do I mean by that? The first thing you have to understand is going to be that there's three types of work out there as a CDL driver. You can be a local driver, a regional driver, or an over-the-road driver. Now, if you're local, that means you're going to get paid by the hour. If you're regional or over-the-road, you're going to get paid by the mile, which means the more miles you work, the more money you're going to make. So that means let's go through an example. Company A is going to say, hey, I'm going to pay my drivers 50 cents per mile. Company B then says, I'm going to pay my drivers 75 cents a mile. Which company do you go for? Most of you are probably going to say company B. That's the winner, right? But the main thing that you're not understanding is how many miles a week are you actually driving? Even if I pay you $1 a mile and I'm only giving you 500 miles a week, you're making $500 at the end of the week. Now, if I give you 50 cents a mile and I'm giving you 2,000 miles a week, then you're making a lot more money making 50 cents a mile. And that's what I'm talking about, comparing apples to apples. At the end of the day, you are going to want end of year take home. You're going to want to make sure, hey, what work do I have to do? What type of work is available that you're not going to cap me out at? And at the end of the year, if I do what you tell me to do, how much money am I going to make? And then if I split that up throughout the weeks or throughout the months or however you get paid, what does that look like? Because at the end of the day, you can go grocery shopping and pay your rent and pay your mortgage and all that stuff with actual cash in your pocket. So it's going to be, okay, how much money am I going to make at the end of the year? How much effort do I have to put in to actually make that money? There are going to be cases where you can make more money, but you're going to need a lot more effort, a lot more sacrifice, a lot more responsibility. And at the end of the day, it's your decision to make. Are you willing to do that or not? So let's talk about an example. Car carriers is something that pops up a lot. So if you're a car carrier and you're going regional or over the road, you're going to get paid by the mile. So now your mileage pay might be comparable to somebody who's not a car carrier, but there's a lot of car carrier companies that pay their drivers by the mile, but they also pay their drivers by the car as well. So there's going to be a piecemeal on top of that. So a good car carrier on average can make a lot more money than an average truck driver. Now, what is the big deal? You're going to say driving a truck is just driving a truck, right? That is where you're wrong. So a guy in a car carrier is going to say, yes, you should become a car carrier. You're going to make all this extra money and you're just doing the same exact thing. But the one thing they do not tell you, and that's why I say compare apples to apples, is going to be if there's any issues with the cars from getting from point A to point B, whose pocket is it coming out of? The driver's pocket. So yes, you have the potential to make a lot more, but you do have a lot more responsibility with that extra income itself. So if you're okay with that responsibility and okay with those skills of driving 9 cars onto a trailer, especially all the way to the tippy top, and making sure that you're climbing all around the trailer itself, then go for it, right? But if you are not willing to do that sacrifice, learn those new skills, take that risk, and have that responsibility, then making that extra money is probably not going to help you out, because what's it going to be worth if you're going to be stressed all the time? You're not even going to be fulfilled with what you're doing. Because what's going to happen is you're going to do it for a little bit of time, you might not be passionate about it, and you might mess up big time, and your entire trucking career might go down the toilet simply because you're chasing the fast cash. We tell our students all the time, a CDL license will change your life, right? It's going to get you rich, but it's not going to get you rich quick. The goal is to get you rich for sure. When you're coming out of school, you're not going to have any experience. You're a newbie in the industry, which means you're not going to make the most amount of money that you can in your first year. As you stay in the industry and as you continue to grow your skills and stay safe, then the amount of money that you can make can continue to grow to unlimited amounts, because the cool thing about trucking is anyone can start their own trucking company. So going back to comparing apples to apples, if a car carrier guy starts talking to you, now know you can't really compare apples to apples. Yes, at the end of the year, he might be taking home more money, but he's also might be spending more money because of the extra responsibility that he does have. But when we kind of go a little bit more simple, we talked about different mileage pay, but there's other companies that have different type of compensation except mileage pay. There's something called detention pay. And usually what that is like is some companies say, hey, if you're going to be stuck at a warehouse for something that's not your fault, you showed up on time, now just the warehouse company itself is delaying you 4, 5, 6, 8 hours, we believe that you should get paid for it. Other companies are going to say, no, we're paying you by the mile, you deal with it, it's your fault. So if you jump from a company that's going to pay you more by the mile and all of a sudden you have all this wait time around, that means at the end of the week, you're actually making less money because of all the extra wait time that you're not getting paid for. So fully understand your compensation plan and fully understand the compensation plan of the company that you're thinking about moving to before you move into it, right? And the other thing that most people do not talk about enough is going to be the different benefits and the culture in the company. Those are all different reasons why you should stay with a company that you're in. So most people do not fully understand their benefit plan, and they make it super complicated on purpose so we don't understand what it is. But the more you understand it, the easier it is to compare. Again, you're going to be tired by the end of this video of me saying apples to apples. You're going to want to say like oranges to oranges or something like that. But at the end, you're going to want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples, right? So we talked about mileage pay. We talked about benefit plans. You want to make sure you're comparing all of that. Now let's take into account local work works the same exact way. Now it is much easier to compare apples to apples on there simply because most local companies will pay you by the hour. So if you're able to make a few extra bucks an hour and everything else is the same, then maybe you should jump to the new company or to the new opportunity. But the other thing that you do have to understand is there are certain types of work out there where you're getting paid by the hour. Plus, there's also extra bonuses like safety bonuses, as an example. Or if you're driving for a company like Sysco Foods or US Foods, the way it works there is you're actually going to get paid by the hour, and then you also get extra bonuses on how many products that you actually deliver, because you're delivering all these different pieces to different restaurants, as an example. And the guys who deliver more will help the company make more, which means they deserve to make more itself. And that's pretty much how that stuff works. All right, so I promise you a secret on how to make sure that you keep your license as clean as possible and how to make sure that you stay as happy as possible long term. And that is this. So if you ever get into a situation where you're working for a company and you believe that you can make more money working for another company someplace else, because one of the things that will happen to you as a driver is companies are going to be looking for you to work for them. And the cool thing is you never really have to look for work again. Companies, if you're good, are always going to be like, hey, come work for me. I will pay you more. Come work for me because of this or that. Now, the cool thing is, if you like the company that you're with and the only thing you might jump for is going to be money, the easiest thing to do is going to be like, okay, give me your offer, fully understand exactly what they're offering so you can compare again, apples to apples. Now bring that offer to the actual current ownership that you're with or HR. Now bring that written offer to HR or the person that you're with and make a negotiation deal with it. Saying, hey, I really like this company. I've been here a long time. I value what you guys do and I love being part of this team. However, I can be making more money here. Are we able to work out a deal? And you give them the opportunity to fight for you, because companies love people who stay long term, right? Because when you think about it, the longer a driver stays, as long as they're staying nice and safe, the cheaper their insurance rates gets and the less recruiting that they have to do, which makes their jobs a lot easier. So they are much more willing to pay you a little bit more rather than try to find somebody else to fill your shoes, especially if you're a valuable part of the team. And the benefit for that most people do not talk to you about is going to be your life gets a lot easier, because when it now is time to move to the next company, you don't have to fill out resumes and applications on, oh yeah, I was with this company for 6 months, then I was with this company for 2 years, and this company for 1 year. Every time you change, all your resumes have to change, and your insurance is going to follow you along as well. So now if you're staying with a company 5, 10, 15 years, and it is finally time to move to the next company or start your own company, whatever it is, now you have an amazing track record and you become that much more valuable in the industry, because it's so much harder to find drivers who stay with a company long term. So if you fully understand all of that, and long term, make sure you pick the right company right off the bat. If you got to switch once or twice in the beginning, you're just learning, no big deal. But really get yourself stable with a company that fits your values, fits your culture, and has a good compensation plan that you fully understand moving forward. But the one trick here is, in order to even have these conversations, you're going to need to have this piece of plastic right over here. Now this is called a CDL license. It gives you the license to drive these big tractor trailers and gives you the license to make a lot of money all around the country, no matter where you are in the world itself, right? So if you're interested in learning more on how to get yourself a CDL license so you can have these cool conversations about which company to work for, how much money you're going to make, all that stuff, we invite you to come to the best CDL school in the entire country here at Driving Academy. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. We have locations nationwide, and find a location near you. See exactly what we can help you out with, and we could take you to the moon. Our mission as a company is to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. We truly believe that freedom comes from what? Having choices. And what better choice that you have of driving where you want to go, working for the company that you want, and making the money that you want itself. Now you can have the freedom and financial choices that you probably don't have today, simply because you become that much more valuable in the marketplace. So again, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Find more information, fill out the link, and one of our team members will be able to help you out. Thanks. Have a great day. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.